and this time on the Real Home Records of K-pop. I realized in my last video that there would probably never be an end to this love and hip-hop saga that is having a K-pop bias, keeping said bias, and being pulled in the many different directions of the other members of that group. Enjoy part 2 of To All the Boys I've Cheated On. BTS, Jin. So you like Tae, Back in 2013, Big Hit, now Hybe, started releasing teaser photos for their new boy group, and I was on Twitter with the rest of them, checking out who was who looked like what, and the blonde kid caught my eye. No More Dream and We Are Bulletproof Part 2, I was still enamored by the blonde kid. Fast forward to 2022, my bias in BTS is still Taehyung. He's honestly now one of my longest standing original biases, so where does Jin come into play? Well, back in the debut days, he was the second member that caught my eye, sparked my curiosity. I appreciated his talents and his visuals, still do. I am, if anything, a connoisseur of the finer things in life. Taehyung still has a firm hold on my heart, but there is a small crack where Jin lies. He stays in his lane and knows that if he were to deepen that crack, World War III might just break out. ATEEZ, Son, Mr. Steal Your Girl. If you look behind his back, you'll see the knife he's hiding, waiting to stab Sungwa in the back, and honestly, with each comeback, that knife grows larger, and he has a harder time hiding it and waiting for the right moment to betray his friend. In reference to my last ATEEZ unboxing, Sungwa once again decided to play games and not appear in a photo card. The gods of K-pop really don't like me most of the time. Son, on the other hand, has remained a constant now in my life for the past few eras. Seasons change, colors change, and Son still makes the effort to show up in my albums. And each time that happens, the distance between Sungwa and I grows just a little bigger. Son's waiting, forever lurking in the shadows until the day he's going to strike, and the kingdom of ATEEZ will forever be shaken. CIX, Sunghoon, Bae Jinyoung, not my bae. CIX debuted. My post-101 heart was extremely excited to see the group that Jinyoung would debut in. Going into the debut, he was the bias. He was never a bias in 101, but from the produce days, I'd grown a deep bond and love for this man. Movie star, numb, even jungle, he was the reigning king of the CIX landscape, one to rule over the land until a new force appeared on the horizon. With all of his vocal talent, Sunghoon pulled up in his golden chariot, marched into the country, and stormed the palace. Making his way into the throne room, he drew his sword, and by cinema, the period between that comeback and the prior, he took out Jinyoung, dethroned the king. Now Sunghoon sits on the throne as my bias, leaving Jinyoung in exile on the outskirts of my heart. SF9, Rowan. He's my type. Why was he not the bias to begin with? Unwoo, Myungsu, Chanyeol, Jaemin, Jaehyun, Joshua. What do these people all have in common? They're handsome and look like the flower boy in their respective groups. Now comes in SF9 to the arena. First it was Sweyoung. Then Sky Castle made me grow a deeper bond with Chani. Before both events, though, it was Lipstick Prince and Rowan. I acknowledged that this tall man was nothing short of breathtaking and went on with my day. It took me up until RPM to really wonder what I'd been doing with my life. Don't get me wrong, Chani and I are very happy. He pops, I pop, we pop together. But given my track record, Rowan should have always been a bias if we were talking about looks. To a T, he's exactly my type, and the chickens have come home to roost because he's now my joint bias with Chani. As much as Chani may not like having to share my heart, somehow the three of us make it work. TXT Subin. I think at this point I was just sleeping. Debut of Hybe's newest boy group after BTS, I couldn't have been anything but excited, and looking forward to what sort of sound they were going to have. P.S. I love them with all my heart. Teaser photos, videos, everything was flying in our faces, and Yeonjun was the one that I took the most interest in. Shows, interviews, live stages, everything later, I was making Yeonjun my bias. He chose me, grabbed my heart, and we started a very promising, beautiful relationship. Now we're in 2021, and Subin has always been a close favorite of mine, bias wrecker for sure. They released the Chaos Chapter Freeze, and he weaseled his way to the top, now sharing the bias spot with Yeonjun, whether Yeonjun liked it or not. Welcome to the throuple once again. Songkong and Idohyun. Even actors don't have a firm hold on my heart. In the land of Korean entertainment, I'm an avid viewer of a many drama every single year. Thank you, Dream High, for getting me hooked on dramas. My favorite actor quickly became Lee Jong-suk after watching 2014's Pinocchio. That led to I Can Hear Your Voice, and everything else he's released in the drama world since then. He became my favorite Korean actor. 2021, Sweet Home. Bitch. Introducing my first ever glimpse to a man named Songkong and the return of a familiar face, Idohyun, whom I'd seen in the days of Hotel de Luna, and who had captured my heart. After Sweet Home, it was a huge avalanche of feels, screams, and heart thumps for these two men, from Novulera to 18 Again to Youth of May to even the second lead syndrome-inducing Love Alarm. Ugh. Lee Jong-suk, welcome to the circus, because these two are now up there with you, and to a lesser extent, the very talented, very handsome Kim Soo-hyun and Nam Joo-hyuk. 17. Joshua. Now let me take you back to the dark ages. I'd been waiting for years for Pledis to finally get off their broke ass and debut their other boy group that they'd been talking about when Newest debuted. I even knew one boy's name pre-debut, Hansel, or Vernon, thanks to a bootleg-ass quality trainee basement video cover of Empire State of Mind that was enough to sell me at the time. 2015 came, and 17, as they were finally called, debuted, and Vernon was my bias, quote-unquote, loosely. Then I learned the rest of the members, minus the 8, because the cotton candy hair created sparkles in my heart when I saw the teaser photos. I learned about the LA native himself, the one and only guitar-playing, church boy singing, pizza and chocolate eating Joshua Hong himself in the flesh. Literally within a month, Vernon was kicked straight to the curb. No one's ever been dumped faster. And Joshua, though he would never admit it, victoriously claimed the spot as my official 17 bias, out of pure coincidence, not because he stabbed his fellow English-speaking brother in the back. I love this man. He sometimes loves me. I think he prays for me sometimes because we're light and day in a lot of ways. He graces me rarely with his photo cards. Only took 4 years before I pulled him in an ode by sheer dumb luck. But at the end of the day, our bond is unbreakable. Joshua for me and I for him. Forever together for all eternity. Blossoming, flourishing, sparkling, beautiful. A love so timeless that it will transcend through the universe, across the stars, steady as the river flows. And that, my kids, is the second installment of the never-ending saga of trials and tribulations. The betrayals, all the fights, the plotting, and sneaking around will not end. There will probably be a part 3 someday in the future, because it's me. We love to see it. And not all is fair in love and hip-hop.